Welcome back, you hear Goldberg. Today we'll be talking about the decline of friendship, in particular friendships that are closer in nature. This is something I first outlined 3 years ago in a video, and I remember it was like the tidal waves of boomer mentalities just hit shore, and they're going,
No, that's just your problem. Stop trying to make us angry. You're just negative.
the standard defend the social regime, defend what we've always known, the generational bias arguments. And people will gaslight to no end. I've certainly come across this as I've been putting together the book on modern dating, where folks don't really try to dispute what you're saying. They just make this highly emotional, egotistical argument because maybe in the early 2000s it was easier due to the fact we had less technology. So they are terrified that if perhaps this loving and wondrous, sexless marriage they're in dissolves, they might stumble and perhaps be in great suffering on the dating apps, trying to find someone else. So the solution is try to isolate, attack the messenger, say that this is not real, that's your problem, you're projecting, all the nonsense. It's been going on in human civilization for really thousands of years. One of the reasons we're very bad at planning for the future, because no one wants to consider that maybe the world they live in will look different in 10 or 20 years. Okay. Regardless, here we have a study, and it's actually from 2011, so a little bit outdated. They said, going 25 years back from 2011, the number of close confidants for Americans had went down from 3 to 2. Today, it's probably 0. You guys probably share your closest, darkest secrets with Siri, maybe Alexa. Yeah, give it to the International Corporation. That's right. Now, I would propose that most of us have the closest, most genuine friendships when we're kids. You have less worldly obligations. You can just hang out, have a good time. There's little in the way of, oh my gosh, I've embraced this staid and angry outlook on how horrible life is. I will note one thing that kind of made me a little bit irritated. I'm not saying that you can't enjoy friendships still, but I would go to these people's birthday party and I would make a point, go with my mom to the store, get them what I knew they wanted, because I remembered, we'd have conversations, they're talking about G.I. Joes or Star Wars or Legos or video games. So you get them what you knew they would like, and you could tell their eyes would light up, they'd be very happy, very grateful when they opened the present. Now, if they showed up on my birthday, which was not always the case because it fell when a lot of people were on vacation, you would see, oh, so you put no thought into this. You basically outsourced it to your parent last minute, and you don't even really care. I'm saying, if we talked about all this stuff, why would you get something that has no relation to it with some silly excuse that, well, this is useful? And I've always told people, especially since I make money, or since I've made money, I would rather you let me know what you're going to get so I can tell you, okay, this I will actually, employ, as opposed to, no, I've got to get a surprise, and then you spend more money than you have to, and it's something that I'm just not really going to use. So gift giving is not everything, but you do notice that. There are some people, and there were indeed some friends where you were like, they knew what you liked and they paid attention. There were a lot just, oh, whatever. And it's really, I think, signals a great deal about human nature, believe it or not. And you get into high school, you still probably have some friend circles, get into some mischief. I would do we'd play airsoft, go out in the mall, whatnot. Pretty good time. I think something that does come in the way, and at times you get into high school, people go into different social circles, they may ignore those they used to hang out with. Maybe they're too cool for you or you're too cool for them, so it does happen. Certainly in college it's the same way. But at college you've got a bit of a party scene, you might make some new friends. Once you get out of that and you're in the working world, if you're not in the same industry or in close geographical location, a lot of people just don't bother. They might have some work acquaintances, but otherwise they're going to do their 40 hours, do the groceries, maybe mow the lawn, and they're going to veg out watching Netflix. The notion that all these folks have these amazing lives that you're missing out on, that you see on Instagram, is largely nonsensical. I would say the typical cream cheese middle class person is living a very unimagined life. Not terribly creative, not very fascinating day by day, unless the job they're doing is just fast-paced and always changing. Another dynamic, of course, is when people start getting married, because then naturally they want to start a family. She's going to come first. She will always come first. All this MGTOW, oh, brotherhood of men, yeah. BS. You give most of these guys who claim to be MGTOW or red pill, you give them an opportunity with a 6 or 7 out of 10, they will throw other men under the bus to get to her. That's just, a lot of dudes are programmed to simp. It's the norm, right? Can you really hate on them? I don't know. But yeah, even if you're trying to do, all right, everyone go out as a group of friends, let's say guys, and then it's like, oh, sorry, his queen doesn't approve, or his queen wants to come along, which can kind of dampen the mood, because you have to watch out what you say, because it's rare that these queens approve of all the friends. In fact, sometimes they'll tell, oh, you can't hang out with them because I don't like him. It's, all right, that does occur. I don't know if it's so much. There are probably some dudes who are like, oh, you can't hang out with your girlfriends, I don't like them. But I think it's generally less common, at least in Western societies. And you get to something that I've come across going back to the sort of acquaintances dynamic, where a lot of people tend to treat friendships more like a transaction, and there are exceptions. But I remember when I was working in trades, there were a group of people. We worked in the same setting, went to some classes together, and so we would collaborate, work on the physics, the mathematics, the drawing the blueprints. I remember one dude a number of times. We'd stay later on and do that because you could get into the school pretty much whenever you wanted if you were trying to work on projects. We'd also, as a group, go out on the weekends a number of times, had fun. But when I left that industry and I moved to my current location, got enrolled in something else, about a month or so later, I text this guy and I was like, hey, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. And he responds with this really strange, like, if you need anything, let me know. Like, I was like, I'm asking you how you're doing or something. Another guy similar. Now, he was a pothead, so you got to give him a little bit of a break. But he's like, wait, this is so-and-so, and just not much of a desire to respond. And what I think happens there is that you are providing a certain utility, right? So if you're helping a person with their homework, or in the case when we went out, I usually was the one driving because I tend to not drink as much alcohol, just a personal preference. So you provide that, you can make people laugh in the group. And now that you're at a distance, there's less direct benefit they get. So, okay, well, we can find someone else. It's actually, I've noticed with certain relationships, you date a chick, you break up, and then she'll assume she can keep you around as this emotional support, air out her grievances, have a conversation. It's like, you go, no, I mean, if we're not in a relationship, I'm not going to be rude to you. If occasionally you need help with something, I might give you advice, but I'm not going to be your conversation partner. And when they figure they can't get anything more from you, I've just noticed this with women. Relationships over, if they can't get anything out of you, it's like you don't exist. That's just the way it works. Now, maybe it's a way for them to protect their emotions. I don't know. The point I'm saying is that a lot of people operate in this manner, male or female. You are basically an acquaintance. You provide a certain benefit, but beyond that level, it's not really a close friendship. It's not like, oh yeah, this is the person I've known my whole life, always hang out. So, I mean, maybe it is just me. I want to get you guys' thoughts. Do you have big social circles? Do you feel it's easy to make friends? Maybe it is just me, but from what I've seen and people I've talked to, I believe this is a much more widespread phenomenon.